Today, we are going over the ALDS matchups, giving you stats that you need to know for today's games for this series of the ALDS. And then at the end, I'm going to make some postseason predictions. I'm very excited. So let's get into it. It's postseason baseball time, you guys.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How's it going, A's fans, and welcome to episode 362 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, noted baseball fan Jason Burke, and on today's episode, we are going over some of the stats that you need to know for these ALDS matchups. I ran some numbers. I have players to keep an eye out for. I have predictions for the series. Who's going to win? Also, Gordon Beckham, former Major League Baseball player Gordon Beckham, had some insights that he and his co-host put up on the Locked On MLB YouTube page. So go check that out for sure. Great stuff. And I'm going to take some quotes from him and insert them in here. And we're going to see who's better, me or a major leaguer. That's what we're going to be doing today. But before I get into any of that, thank you guys so much for making Locked On A's your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all platforms. And also, today's episode is being brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Download the app and join me this week. Probably this weekend. I'm going to say this weekend. And you can get in on the action. We'll talk some baseball. We'll talk about what you guys think about what's going to happen in the ALDS and also the NLDS. I'll be dropping that episode tomorrow. So get excited for some postseason baseball. We'll talk during some postseason. There's 4 games on Friday. We can talk during one of those, probably an afternoon game. So that'll be fun as well. Also, make sure to follow our YouTube channel. That's available on YouTube, obviously. Again, we have so many subscribers. We need more. Give us more subscribers. And if you're already on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, rate, review, do whatever you need to do on YouTube that's, boost the signal of the page. We're going to be here for you guys every single day. And we're also available on any podcasting platform that you guys like. So if you guys like Apple or Spotify or whatever, follow us there and leave us a rating and a review on those if you can. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ByJasonB on Twitter and the Spotify Green Room app. If you guys have any questions for us, please send those to lockedonathletics@gmail.com. But let's get into these ALDS matchups. Let's start with the Rays and Red Sox. There we go. Had to find it in the script. Rays and Red Sox. The Rays outscored the Red Sox 106-104 on the season, but oh man, does that not tell the full story. Tampa went 11-8 against the Red Sox this season, but Tampa was 11-4 against Boston over the last 15 games. Remember, the Red Sox started off really, really hot at the beginning of the year, so they got some April wins and then one more in like May or June, whatever the second series is played. I think it was June. And so they won the first 4 and then went 4-11 against this team the rest of the way. The Red Sox went 4-11 the rest of the way. And in the games that the Tampa Bay Rays won, they outscored Boston 81-40. They doubled them up. They have an offense. Remember that. They have an offense. In games that the Rays lost, Boston outscored Tampa 64-25. That's more than doubled them up. So in wins, each team averaged a little bit over 7 runs a game. For the Tampa, it was a little bit over 7. For the Red Sox, it was like 7.5. And in losses, each team averaged just over 3 runs a game. So I would really like to see the winning teams for both those guys go head-to-head, and then the losing teams go head-to-head, because that would be a very thrilling matchup. The one that we're getting, I mean, we'll see. There was one game that kind of skewed the data a little bit, and that was a 20-8 Sox win that skews everything. But only 1/3 of the games that these two teams played against each other were 1-run games, and they split those. So not a lot to go on here. Only 1/3 of the games, 1/3 of let's say 18. One third of the 19 games that they played were 1-run games. So we're probably going to be seeing 2, 3, 4-run games this entire series if trends hold. For the Red Sox, I think that this series comes down to Garrett Whitlock. He closed out Tuesday's wildcard game against the Yankees. It wasn't a safe situation, but he was there in the ninth getting that experience. Will that play a factor moving forward? Will he be getting those late innings? He's been getting them all year, but they wanted to get him some postseason experience. He got some. He also gave up that opposite field home run to Giancarlo Stanton in the process. Stanton figuring out, hey, maybe don't hit it off of the green monster anymore. Let's go Oppo. And so we did, and he hit a home run. Garrett Whitlock is 25 years old and was on the Yankees AA squad in 2019 before not playing at all in 2020, partially because of Tommy John, partially because of the COVID season. So, he's inexperienced, but he's obviously got really, really good stuff. He is arguably their best reliever, the entirety of the season, their best reliever. So the Red Sox took him, they acquired him from the Yankees in the Rule 5 draft, and he's been huge for them. But how much will the stage of the postseason get to him, if at all? Can he perform on the big stage? That's something that I think that a lot of rookies, we just like, they're going to be fine. But last year, around this time, I was previewing the A's and White Sox series, and I was looking at Nick Madrigal, and I was like, his defense is okay. Is the stage going to be too big for him? He made a huge error that led to a big inning early in game 2 of that series, kind of swung everything for the A's. Sometimes these things happen, and rookies aren't just machines. Sometimes they have emotions about being in the postseason. Is Garrett Whitlock gonna have emotions? He better not, because Boston will not be happy with that. But will he? That is my question. I am intrigued to find that out. If Whitlock falters, the Sox don't have the bullpen to just do it without him. So he needs to perform. And if he doesn't, it's going to be a very short series. So for the Rays, I am watching Juan De Franco. Do the Rays need him to produce in order to succeed? Like they had Randy Arozarena last year? Not necessarily, but I really want to watch Juan De Franco play baseball. I haven't been able to watch him as much. So that's the guy that I'm going to be watching is Juan De Franco because he's 20 years old. He's amazing. And he's one of the best prospects that we've seen in quite a while. I know that we've seen a bunch, but he is the talk around him has been Vlad Jr.-esque. And I want to see it for myself. It's in the postseason. I want to see that. So Juan De Franco in this in this year hit 288 with a 347 on base and an 810 OPS. Again, he's 20 years old. That's really, really good. The reason that I'm picking Franco is because I'm curious if another rookie can carry them in the postseason. They needed a Randy Arozarena to produce like he did last October. He carried them to the World Series. He had some big moments. While they don't necessarily need Juan De Franco as much, I want to know if there is something in the water in Tampa that leads to amazing rookie postseasons, because 2 points, I'm going to say that makes a line. I know that doesn't work in math, but 2 points for me in the postseason of rookies just dominating make a line. They're also going to need some rookies to step up in order to win the series and potentially a World Series, because they got Shane McClanahan and Shane Baz pitching the first 2 games of the series against the Boston Red Sox. They're going to have to step up if the Rays are going to win this series. So it's all about rookies for me. Obviously, I want to watch Juan De Franco because he's amazing, but also Shane McClanahan and Shane Baz. I'm watching the rookies. How are they performing? It's rookies all around. It's Garrett Whitlock for the Red Sox. It's everybody else for the Rays. I'm watching the rookies. Whoever's rookies perform, that's the team that wins the series. But coming up, I'm talking about the Astros and White Sox. So stay locked in with Locked On A's, and I will be right back. This episode is being brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Green Room is the first social audio platform made for sports fans. The app is free to download, and once you're in, you can talk with me, other fans, athletes, and insiders in real time about your favorite team or sport. I'll be hosting rooms for Locked On A's once a week, and yes, you can finally join in on the conversation you listen to here every day. Green Room is the perfect place to start or join conversations about baseball. You'll find fans just like you on Green Room for watch parties, debates, post-game breakdowns, and of course, reacting to big news or rumors. And you will have a chance to talk with me sometime this week, probably on Friday, during one of the afternoon games. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to, join us for that. Go download the Green Room app now, currently available on all iOS devices. Be sure to create a profile, link your Twitter, and join the MLB group for the latest league updates. Follow me at @ByJasonB to be notified when my room goes live. I know you won't want to miss it. I'm planning to be live this week on Friday for one of the afternoon games. I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but I know that there's 4, and I'm going to pick one of the middle 2. It's going to be one of those 2, so clear up your day. We're going to have a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear everybody's thoughts on the A's and also the postseason baseball. It's going to be thrilling. I'll see you guys there. Green Room, changing the way we talk sports. Nailed that, sports. We're back better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. So head on over to their website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code Locked On to receive your bonus. That is a new promo code. So if you guys have been listening to these ads for a while and you kind of tuned out, it is a new promo code Locked On. You get a 50% welcome bonus, and you can use that for anything from football, basketball, boxing, playoff baseball, which is what I'm passionate about, right down to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports, and that is because BetOnline is where the game starts. All right, and so for the YouTube people, I now see where I am in the episode. Time-wise, we're making good time. How are you doing? What's going on? How's it going? It was cold today, so I got to wear my sweatshirt for the first time. It's so cozy. It's a Mets sweatshirt. I apologize for that, given the rumors about Billy Beane and Bob Melvin. And are they really rumors, or are they just people throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks? So far, it looks like people are throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, because Theo Epstein was said to be in the running, and he's not. They had a conversation, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not a fit. Never mind, we're good. So that rumor's dead. So I guess they move on to Billy, and we'll see how that goes, I guess. So sorry about the Mets thing. I like the Mets colors. The Mets have never done anything to the A's, so they're a fun team to root for. I like baseball in general, and I like their colors. So go Mets, I guess. I don't know. Tasty. Love these. All right, but let's get back into it. Also, in the comments, let me know who you guys are rooting for and who you guys think will win this postseason. Let's stick to the ALDS for this episode. Tomorrow I'll be doing the NLDS. So let me know who you guys think is going to win each series, and we'll get into the World Series a little bit later. And I'm not going to be doing these every day. We're going to keep doing A's stuff, but I get excited about playoff baseball, so I wanted to talk about it. So here we go. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to hit subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ByJasonB on Twitter and in the Spotify Green Room app. If you guys have any questions for us, please send those to lockedonathletics@gmail.com. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you guys are listening to this on your podcast provider, the link to that is in the show notes. Just click it, hit subscribe. It'll take you 2 seconds. It would make me very happy. Comment, like, do things on YouTube, because we're not switching to video, but it is helpful when people watch the videos too, I will say. Also, thank you so much for making this your first listen of the day. Again, we are free and available on all podcast platforms. But let's get back into it. The second ALDS series, the one that I'm kind of more interested in, honestly, is the Houston Astros against the Chicago White Sox. Houston won the season series 5-2 and outscored the White Sox 35-23 this season in those 7 games. And it wouldn't have even been that close if the one of the 2 games that the White Sox won was not a 10-1 victory back in July. So it really was not. It was a lopsided season series, just looking at the scores. And the Sox won their last 2 games against Houston in Chicago. So we'll see if that plays a little bit of a factor. And whether that means that they figured out Houston or not remains to be seen. I'm probably going with not. They were just due a couple of wins because they're also a good baseball team. But in those 2 games, the Astros totaled all of 1 run. So they scored half a run a game in those last 2 games. So that's kind of the key for the Chicago White Sox, I think, is their pitching has to show up. They have to limit the Houston Astros and hope that their bats do a little bit of damage. Maybe there can be one slugfest, but they're not going to win a slugfest series with the Houston Astros, I don't think, because Houston, really good offense. In those 2 games that the White Sox won, Lucas Giolito went 9 innings and gave up 3 hits and 1 run in the first win. And then they had Carlos Rodon going 7 innings and allowing 1 hit and striking out 10 in the second win. So that's dominance. They need dominance. Maybe not quite that dominant, but they need some dominance from their starters and then also their relievers. These 2 teams have not faced each other since the trade deadline, which I think is very, very interesting. So neither squad has faced the other's revamped bullpens, with Chicago adding Craig Kimbrell and the Astros big piece being Kendall Graveman. They added a couple of other relievers too. I'll talk about them here in a second, but both of these teams added to their bullpens. Should be an interesting series. The Astros won all of the games at home in the season series, and the first 2 games of this series and a potential Game 5 would be in Houston. And Game 1 is going to be Lance Lynn and Lance McCullers. It is a battle of lances. I really just have 2 jousters going, and then the jousting sticks, the lances, if you will. That's what I have in my head when I hear a battle of lances. So you're welcome. That's a peek inside my brain. But for the season, Lance Lynn finished with a 2.69 ERA and will be in contention for the AL Cy Young. He'll probably be top 5, top 7 maybe. So he's going to be in contention. Probably won't win it, but he'll be around the top of votes. But over his last 7 starts, he was 1-3 with a 4.10 ERA, and in his 1 start against the Astros this season in Houston, he went just 4 innings pitched and gave up 8 hits and 6 earned runs. Remember, Lance Lynn was on the Texas Rangers last year. The Houston Astros saw Lance Lynn a whole bunch because they were in the same division, and they only played you remember the West and the East and the Central? They were all divisional games, and we got to see a lot of the same teams a lot. So they're very familiar with revamped Lance Lynn. And also Lance Lynn's postseason line is not great, but it also isn't terribly recent. So I don't know what to make of his postseason line. He has a career 4.80 ERA in October, but hasn't pitched in the postseason since 2019, obviously because 2020, the Rangers did not make it. And he came out of the bullpen twice for the Yankees in 2019. So not necessarily when he was good was with the Yankees. No, not at all. And he was coming out of the bullpen. So what do we make of that? I tossed it to the side. Nothing happened there. And then his last postseason appearance was 2015. So that's not the same Lance Lynn, I don't think. So is he better? Does he have jitters in October? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Astros do to him. It's going to be a very, very big test for him. And that all said, I think that the White Sox can actually overcome a bad start here if Lance Lynn only goes 4 and gives up, let's say 4. If he has a bad start like that, I think that they can overcome it because they have a very solid bullpen and their offense has tons of bats that can put up runs in a hurry. They had 13 bats this season put up a WRC plus that was above league average. That is a 100 or above WRC plus. That is depth. That is just a lot of talent. They had to overcome a lot of injuries. Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert did not play full seasons, and so they had to rely on guys like Yermin Mercedes, who is no longer with the team, but they had so many guys. That's really impressive to me. That's how you build a winner, I think. Maybe not in October, but for the long haul of a season, you got 13 guys with a WRC plus of over 100. That's a great offense. They know what they're doing when they're acquiring guys, or at least when they're deploying the guys that they do have. So that's something to keep an eye on. Would this be a sustainable plan for postseason success, having their starter get blown up and then just having their bats do a lot of mashing? No, it would not. But can they pull it off here and there? I do think that is a possibility. Yes, absolutely. And that's why I'm keeping an eye on my player for the White Sox, Luis Robert. He hit 338 with a 946 OPS this season in just 68 games. So he's obviously a stud. And in October, your stars have to shine. Roberts is arguably the White Sox most well-rounded player, both defensively and offensively. And if the White Sox are going to win this series, he's going to need to show out. He's going to have to shine, I think. So it's Luis Robert or bust for me. For the Astros, we all know about their big boppers and that Carlos Correa loves the spotlight after he hit 500 against the A's in the ALDS last year with 3 home runs and 11 RBI. He loves shining on the big stage, and it's really maddening, but he puts it up. So what can you do, I guess? But their biggest weakness, I think, is their bullpen. And at the deadline, they added Kendall Graveman. At the deadline, they added Kendall Graveman, Yimi Garcia, and Phil Mateon. Graveman has been solid with a 3.32 ERA since the deadline, mainly due to a bumpy August when he had a 4.91 ERA. He's definitely rebounded in the month of September and October. So he's fine again. He's like he was before the trade deadline. Yimi Garcia and Phil Mateon have had ERAs over 5 since heading to Houston, so don't look for them in a big spot. Maybe in a particular matchup, but they're not going to be trying to get 3 outs in the 8th inning. That would be silly. But they might be a 5th or a 6th inning option in the right spot facing like the bottom of the White Sox order. But again, White Sox have depth. They have 13 guys with a WRC plus of over 100. So since the deadline, Houston's bullpen ranks 15th in baseball in ERA with a 3.89. That is roughly a run better than the A's. So they were good, I guess. The player that I have my eye on in this series is Ryan Presley. There we go. Who has been one of, if not the best Houston reliever in recent years. This season, he earned an all-star spot and ended the season with a 2.25 ERA. He was really, really good. He's been really, really good for basically the last 3 years. He's been really, really good in the Houston bullpen, and he has struggled in his previous 2 ALDS appearances. However, granted, very small sample size. That's 4 innings. He struggled in 4 innings, but he's allowed 8 hits and 4 runs in those 4 innings. Those are big struggles. In limited sample size, that's a lot of messing up that you're doing. And I think that his ERA could have been higher than 9 if the A's had capitalized on a few more opportunities, because he was just getting guys on base and the A's would not cash in. So can the White Sox cash in? That is what I am looking at here. If he struggles at keeping runs off the scoreboard, I think that the Astros are in big, big trouble. Obviously, not a big proclamation to say, hey, if your closer struggles, it's going to be rough going for you guys. But they have other options that can close. They have Kendall Graveman. They've got some other guys that can close games, but it would also shrink their bullpen depth. If you can't rely on Ryan Presley, I think that their bullpen depth struggles, and then they would have to lean a little bit more on their starting pitching. And Dusty Baker has been arguably masterful at managing the arms, and that is why they've had so much success, even though they've lost George Springer and Roberto Osuna, if you want to claim him. They've been losing guys, and they keep putting out. Justin Verlander, not on the team. Zach Greinke, been okay, but they keep winning because Dusty Baker knows when to deploy guys. But if you take out one of his big pieces because maybe he has ALDS jitters, then I think that they could be in a little bit of trouble. Presley struggling would have a ripple effect, and if you're the Astros, that has to be a little bit worrisome for me. So that's my take on that series. Coming up, I make my ALDS predictions. So stay locked in with Locked On A's. I'll be right back. Did you know the Built Bar has so many delicious flavors? There is something for everyone. When you talk to a Built Bar fan, they're definitely passionate about their favorites. If this is not your first time listening to this podcast or seeing me live, you know my favorite of their core flavors, Cherry Barcia. If you want one of their core flavors, you got to get a mix box where you will get 2 of each of those 9 flavors. You got coconut, you got Cherry Barcia, raspberry, mint brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel, strawberry, orange, cookies and cream, and German chocolate. Cherry Garcia is the one that I go to, but they also have seasonal picks. They're all absolutely amazing. Cookie dough chunk. They sent me those ones. They're so good. I love these bars. I really, really do. They're so tasty. And not only are they very, very tasty, they're also healthy. You're getting 17 to 18 grams of protein, calories from 130 to 180 per bar. You got 4 or 5 grams of sugar and only 4 or 5 grams of net carbs. They're all amazing flavors, all tasty and all healthy, and they are all available at built.com. So use the promo code LOCKED15 and you will get 15% off of your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Sorry about that. I got a tickle in my throat halfway through, and I was like, I need to have a sip of water, but it would ruin the feed. So here, now I'm having my sip of water. Much better. Much, much better. I hope. All right. Again, comment below. What are your predictions? Who do you think is going to be winning the ALDS matchups? Who do you think is going to win let's say the World Series? If it's an AL team, tell me who's winning the the World Series. Who's the MVP of these series? Who are you keeping an eye out for? These are things that I want to know. Let me know down in the comments. And also, I should use my other finger. Nope, I can't do this. There. Jason, you failed at YouTube. All right, let's keep it going. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the thumbs up button. That one's helpful. Comment on the video. Let me know who you think is going to be the player to watch out for on each of these teams, because I love having conversations in the comments. And also make sure to follow the podcast wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at @ByJasonB on Twitter and the Spotify Green Room app. If you guys have any questions for us, please send those to lockedonathletics@gmail.com. So who is going to make it to the ALCS? Let's start with the Astros, because they have they have made it to the ALCS in each of the last 4 seasons. Can they make it a 5th? God, I hope not. So the White Sox lost to the A's in the playoffs last year, which is extremely hard to do. Nobody does that. The White Sox did it last year. Did it count? Not. They made it to the ALDS. So, I mean, the A's won a series technically, so I'll take it. That said, and maybe there's some bias involved here, I think that the White Sox will win this 1-5. They're 2 evenly matched teams, but I want the White Sox to win, so it's going the distance. And this is going to be despite Tony La Russa doing something. What is he going to do? No idea. But I feel like he's going to do something that's just bonkers, but they're going to make up for it, and they're going to win the series anyway. That's my prediction. On the Locked On MLB YouTube page, I mentioned it before, former Major League Baseballer Gordon Beckham, you might remember him from his time with the White Sox. He spent a lot of time with the White Sox, said to watch out for Tim Anderson in this series. I didn't forget about Tim Anderson, but oh man, was he a motor for that team in the AL wildcard round, I guess, of 2020 against the A's. He was an absolute beast. He was scary, and the A's had no answer for him. Was it the A's pitching, or was it Tim Anderson being a big stage guy? I'm intrigued. That's a solid pick from Gordon Beckham, I gotta say. So what I'm interested in right now is who is going to be right? Me, the podcaster who picked Luis Robert, or Gordon Beckham, the guy with real world experience? I cannot wait to find out. We both picked White Sox. So who's gonna have the better series? It's gonna be Gordon Beckham's guy in Tim Anderson, or my guy, Luis Robert. Let me know in the comments who's going to have the better series. And so with that, we move on to the series between Boston and Tampa. And it just doesn't have as much cachet for me because, I mean, at least as the Astros and White Sox one, because divisional series just don't necessarily matter. Giants-Dodgers, that's a historical rivalry. That one counts. I'm excited to watch that series, if I'm being honest. You had a 107 win team and a 106 win team. That's amazing. They battled to the very end. in Tampa and Boston, Tampa kind of ran away with this one. They played each other 19 times, and Tampa ran away with it. In arguably the toughest division in at least the American League, if not all of baseball. And they finished with the most wins in the American League and the number one seed. They have home field as long as they are in the playoffs. So Tampa Bay kind of already did it for the regular season. Can they do it for the postseason? That's the question. Gordon Beckham picked the Red Sox in this series because they have played in the last 4 days, and he thinks that, and they also got a big win against the Yankees, and he thinks that because they've played and baseball being a daily sport, that's going to have an influence here. I think that if the Rays come out and look like they haven't missed a beat with the layoff, then they're going to be just fine. And this should be a very, very quick series. If the Sox come out and hang some crooked numbers early on tonight, then maybe I'll change my tune a little bit. But the Rays can hit the season too. They got Nelson Cruz. They got Juan De Franco. They got Randy Arozarena. They got Austin. They've got so many bats. Brandon Lau. They've got so many bats. Mike Zunino, all he does is hit dingers. He's been fantastic. They've got just a stack lineup. They've always got pitching. I think it's going to be the Rays. I'm going to take the Rays in 4 instead of 3 because I really like Cheers. But that's the only reason I say the Rays sweep this one. Again, World Series favorites for me. I'm picking the Rays. If they get eliminated, I'm going to have to do some deep, deep thinking. But that's who I think is going to be winning this series fairly convincingly. So let's see what happens, I guess. Who's going to be right on this one? Me or Gordon Beckham? Am I smarter than an MLBer? I don't want to name it that, but who's a better prognosticator, me or Gordon Beckham? That's going to be fun. So that's all that I got for you guys today. But again, one last time, thank you guys so much for making Locked On A's your first listen every day. Now, for your second listen, tune in to Locked On MLB with Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call him Sully. And he brings his unique perspective on the majors, both present and past. It's free and available on all platforms. And because he is the national MLB show, they had some fun stuff like Gordon Beckham talking baseball to his YouTube feed. So go check out the YouTube page as well. We all do good work. And why not go watch Sully too? Go watch Sully after this. Now that we're basically done, go watch Sully. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Tomorrow I'll be doing the same thing as I did today, but with the NL, getting some blood rivalries going. It's going to be fun. And then also talking about the Brewers and Braves. That'll be a good time. That's going to be an interesting one to call, because is Devin Williams' absence from the Brewers bullpen going to have enough of an impact on Milwaukee to potentially send them home? He punched a wall celebrating after they won the division or made the playoffs or whatever. That was silly of him. Why did he do that? I don't know how to rate them right now. And the Dodgers are missing Max Muncy, and the Giants got a lot of injuries, and Kevin Gausman's not been as good. It's going to be a wild episode. I have not made up my mind on who's winning these series yet, so it's going to be a lot of fun doing research tomorrow. But anyways, that is it for me today, you guys. So until next time, go outdoors and celebrate good times, Oakland, and I will talk at you tomorrow.